Hey, how's it going? It's Rob, part two of the question and answer. The question we're going to go through today in the interactive guidebook. This is lesson one on the self-defeating belief. And this is a question that says, how do my self-defeating beliefs affect my life and the lives of those around me? Both myself and student number one have taken the time to answer all the questions in these guidebooks. Here's my answer. They shape my perception of my subjective reality. And by subjective reality, I mean my observable reality, the reality, my immediate sphere of influence. They color exactly what I think is capable of coming into my reality, what I'm worthy of. And anything that doesn't add up and compute and doesn't support what I believe I'm able or worthy of, I'll set forth to discard and get rid of, because it's a threat to what I believe. I'd rather be right about not being worthy than actually be shown that I am worthy. Um, they determine my acceptability as in the ability that I think I possess, as opposed to the ability I actually possess. So, in that right there, I think and I believe that I'm capable of love. I'm not capable of love. I'm not capable of success. I'm not worthy of intimacy. I'm not worthy of a good life. If I fundamentally hold those thoughts and those beliefs in my mind, unconsciously, mind you, I'm not running around going, hey guys, guess what? I'm not worthy of love. I don't think I'm worthy of a good life. I think I'm a piece of shit. I'm not conscious of those things. In fact, usually those are so below the level of consciousness that what I'm running around going is saying, I'm awesome, I am the shit, I can do anything. Yet my actions don't really demonstrate that. My actions are usually self-defeating and very telltale. People can say all sorts of things, but the actions will always reflect what we actually believe. Okay? If we don't take the action to do something that's life-affirming, then we really believe on a fundamental level we're not worthy of it. Okay, so basically, I have no idea what my ability is, but I believe I'm only able to do this, this, and this. So they set the limitations on what I'm able to actually do in life. They set each and every limitation on what I believe I'm capable of bringing to the table as far as my relationships and my creative expression. They attract other people who have the same sort of self-defeating beliefs as my own. I call this mirror points. We always attract who we are. We attract our mirror. Most of the time we attract our mirror, and when our mirror shows up, we do not like what we see. We do not want to be shown ourselves, and we set forth to blame the other person. It feels uncomfortable. Intimate relationships are always going to be two like-minded people who deal with the same situations within their own minds. They have similar thoughts that have attracted them magnetically together, and when they get in close, intimate contact after the first 3-4 months, when all the distraction phase is gone and you're set and you can no longer, hide these aspects of yourself that were created unconsciously, and they come to the surface, usually what people do is set forth to discard the other person. They don't want to look at themselves. They'd rather just go on to the next bag of drugs and snort another line of Cindy or Sally or Jesse or whoever. And it's just this repetitive, sad cycle that ends usually with people being alone and bitter and drinking themselves to death and thinking that, they were a victim and, they just weren't cut out for love. Couldn't happen. Okay, so I have been in many codependent relationships which were hardly relationships at all. I would call them entanglements. They, in hindsight, were nothing more than two unconscious, self-obsessed people coming together to revalidate their own self-defeating beliefs through their interaction with one another. So I'm going to believe I'm not worthy of love. I'm going to believe I'm not worthy of success. I'm going to believe that I'm incapable of intimacy or loving my partner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set forth to prove all these things right in an intimate relationship. So then, one day, 6 months or a year down the road, I can walk away from that failed relationship that I killed with my own self-defeating beliefs, and I can say, see, I knew I wasn't worthy of love. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew that they would do that to me. Does that make sense? Well, I'm sure some of y'all can relate. It's been a lifelong struggle of mine. Now, mind you, these books that I'm writing here, they're just my personal experience. I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything, but boy, am I a professional. I'm an expert in my own experience, and this is all I'm bringing forth, and we each have our own, and it's invaluable. Life experience is far more valuable than any textbook, where you're just going to sit down and you're going to memorize a bunch of information and you're going to regurgitate it so you can get something that says you do something so then you can get some other stuff. It's like personal experience is the foundation upon which all of our experiences come grow and all of our opportunities come to us. Let me see here. I attract who I believe I am. My thoughts, self-defeating or not, create my reality. So if I walk around with self-defeating beliefs, thinking that I'm not worthy of love, that I can't do this, that I can't do that, then my subjective reality is going to be pretty self-defeating. I'm going to attract people that prove to me they either dominate me or they just, become my caretakers. And either way, there's no balance there. Either way, I'm going around going, see, I knew I couldn't take care of myself. I knew I was a victim. Look what's happening to me. Life isn't happening to any of us. It was never happening to me all those years I believed it was. Okay, they just do. If I believe I am not worthy of love or success, then I will go to great lengths to prove myself right. I will sabotage any relationship where the possibility exists. I will undermine my own efforts by sabotaging a business I start. Oftentimes, the resistance to the fact that I am not only worthy but totally deserving of success and love becomes quite emotionally painful. In this emotional pain, these people say a lot dealing with emotions. We have to deal with our emotions. We have to process our emotions. Well, our emotion is one part of the Holy Trinity within our mind that I call, the instinct mind, the emotional mind, and the rational mind all have to be working in harmonious relationship. Okay. If for some reason the instinct mind's activated because the nature of our thoughts are too fearful, it's going to disconnect us from our rational mind. We're not going to have intuitive guidance. Just like that GPS in your car that tells you how to get around downtown when you're totally lost. That's what intuitive guidance is. It helps you to stay responsive to your environment, not reactive. Okay, and look up the definition between respond and react. Okay, finally it goes. Um, Okay, simply stay. Okay, this is when addiction comes into play because the nature of our emotions, the nature of our thoughts create self-defeating emotions, and those emotions become so intolerable that we set forth an addiction to change and control the emotions that we are experiencing. And whether it's the addiction to love, it's the addiction to codependence, to a bulimia, or anorexia, drug addiction, money, success, power, we're all addicted to something that makes us feel good, and it's usually an external mechanism or some kind of psychological mechanism. But before we engaged in that addiction, we felt terrible emotional pain, and that's because there are self-defeating thoughts that we held in our minds and what we believe we're capable of. If we're running around believing we're incapable and we're not worthy, that's going to feel pretty terrible. And then, of course, we're going to do some sort of drug or ingest some kind of intoxicant or, use some sort of mechanism in order to alter or change the way we feel. So that's my answer. I'm going to go through student number one's in part 3.